Welcome to Inside South Florida. I'm your host, Nick Robinson. Almost exactly 10 years ago right now, the nation began to experience arguably its most traumatic and terrifying day. It was the kind of moment that changed the way we see things forever, the kind of moment that in many cases crystallized how we each cope with being individuals in a large and complex world. Well, today, as we mark the 10th anniversary of the September 11th attacks on the country, we're exploring the various ways South Floridians handle the occasion. Check it out.
Where were you when you found out that we were being attacked on September 11th?
I had a job at a restaurant in Fort Lauderdale.
I was in class in high school.
I was actually at my house watching TV when it came on the news.
I was at the doctor's office with my son.
I think I was just devastated. My friend lived there at the time, and I was on the phone with him.
I was like kind of afraid, wondering was it was going to come here, or they were going to start attacking in Florida here. But I felt really sad, because of the loss. A lot of people lost their family, their loved ones, and just to get that call and just say, your child is the one that's not coming home, your husband or whatever. It was kind of sad because a lot of lives was lost.
Horrible. Wish it would have never happened. I don't know how, I was just mad, didn't feel good.
More frustration than
More
anger.
frustration than anger, yeah.
It just felt like the whole world was kind of like falling apart, like it couldn't be real. And of course, us watching it wasn't the same as the people experiencing it. So all we see is people and dust and everything, and it was almost like a movie. It wasn't like it was real.
I just try to, keep it in the past and, and just keep my prayers with the ones that lost their family in the midst of that tragedy.
I don't watch anything about it anymore. A few years ago, I couldn't take it anymore. I see it and I cry. My son was 4 years old at the time, and he said they hurt our New York.
My feelings on it is that it's been 10 years and the people who are truly responsible for it haven't felt any kind of, they haven't been punished for what they did.
Same thing if it hit Florida, I would probably have felt the same way. America's America. It shouldn't happen anywhere over here.
In the wake of the attacks 10 years ago, many people nationwide are memorializing the day by giving back, giving time, giving service, giving money. Well, as part of the American Psychiatric Association's tribute of 9/11, my next guest is doing his part too, offering free mental health counseling to service personnel, veterans, and their loved ones affected by current conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. Please welcome Dr. Daniel Bober. Dr. Bober, thank you for being here.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
So, a lot of people all over the country are giving back today. Why? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, what actually inspires people to do that on such a momentous day?
Well, I think the 9/11 attacks were really something that reshaped a generation. For me, I sort of look at my life as the way it was before 9/11 and the way it is after 9/11. It really undermined our sense of safety and security. And I think that a lot of people in the wake of such a tragedy really want to try to do something that makes them feel like they can turn something good out of this terrible tragedy.
And so the American Psychiatric Association is setting this up as part of the Day of Giving. Explain to me what you and other psychiatrists are doing.
Well, we are offering services to people that have insurance or that don't have insurance as a way to try to give something back to the community to help the people that really have suffered from this tragedy and still continue to suffer. We don't want financial barriers to prevent them from getting the help that they need.
So what does it mean to you to be able to give back? I mean, we've talked a little bit about other people, but what does it mean to you to give back on this anniversary?
Well, for me, I remember the day very vividly, and anything that I can do to try to help personally through my profession and through the gifts that I've been given, to give something back to people really makes me feel like I can do something to help.
And on a day like this, when people have all these memories, obviously you'd work one-on-one with people in their personal circumstances, especially veterans and the like. But for the average person who's just trying to cope with that tragedy, process it, what are some words of wisdom you have on a day like today?
Well, you know, there's really no roadmap, there's no recipe. I would say that people have to respond to how they feel and do what they need to do for themselves. Some people prefer to seek therapy or counseling. Some people prefer to be by themselves. And some people prefer to be around family. And so to really just do what you need to do for yourself and not feel pressured to do one thing or the other, just what feels right for you.
Do you think that people's point of view has changed over the years, that tragedy in some way has mentally waned?
Well, like any tragedy, I think it's something that, you know, we try to put behind us. I'm sure we don't think about it now as much as we did when it happened, but it's something that profoundly affected so many people, especially New Yorkers, that I don't think it's something that we'll ever forget. And it's something that, you know, especially on anniversaries, that we'll try to remember and try to take as much good from it as we can.
But do you think as a culture that we've now changed?
I don't. I think that 9/11 has completely reshaped our culture. It's completely reshaped our feelings of safety and security. You know, you see all these, you know, terror threats on the news. I mean, it's completely changed the way news has been conducted. Just something as simple as going outside or going to a public place, going to a concert or a sporting event. You know, I think these things are sort of in the background now, whereas they weren't there before 9/11 happened.
You don't even think twice about walking through somewhere and having somebody go through your belongings and everything else to such an extensive extent.
It's, like I said, it's really reshaped our culture and the way that we do business. It's really changed everything.
Well, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody this morning watching?
Just that, you know, this can be a very tough day for you, and just that I wish them the best and hope that they will reach out to me in any way I can if I can help.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And if you want to know more about how you can be a part of the tribute movement in the future, just go to 911dayofservice.org. And if you want to reach Dr. Bober, call his office at 954-967-6776. Now, coming up as we continue our 9/11 special, find out how some South Floridians are coming together across faiths and culture later today to better understand one another. We'll be right back.